All right, everyone. Welcome. If you're here, it's because you're staring down the barrel of the Cambridge A2 economics exam, specifically those daunting 25-mark essays. Today, we're moving past the guesswork. I'm going to show you the only way to structure your response to engineer a Level 3 result. We aren't just writing, we're building a blueprint for an A. Let's talk about the blank page mentality. We've all been there. You see the prompt, you panic, and you just start dumping every economic theory you've ever heard onto the page, hoping something sticks. You explain the theory perfectly, but then you get your marks back, and it's a disaster. Why? Because Cambridge 9708 essays aren't creative writing assignments. They're mathematical equations. If you put in the right structural inputs, you are guaranteed specific marks. It's that simple. Think of your essay as this pyramid. At the bottom, we have AO1, knowledge. This is where most students spend 80% of their time, but it actually yields the lowest marginal marks. As we move up to AO2 application and AO3 analysis, we start building causal chains and integrating diagrams. But look at the very top, AO4 evaluation. It requires the fewest words, but carries the heaviest weight. If you want the top marks, you have to master the peak of this pyramid. To get into that top band, your essay needs 4 distinct parts that interlock like a machine. The primer, your introduction. The core engine, your analysis. The friction, your evaluation, where you challenge your own arguments. The verdict, your final, synthesized conclusion. Getting one right isn't enough. They have to work together. Before we move on, let's talk about your final prep. You can know the theory, but the exam is a different beast. At Blackwood Prep, we've engineered our 2026 A-level predicted papers to bridge that gap. These aren't just practice questions. They are data-driven simulations of the actual papers you're going to sit. We've included the exact unfamiliar contexts and tricky synoptic links that catch students out every year. If you want to walk into that exam hall with 100% confidence, grab the predicted papers at the link in the description. Invest in your grade. Now, back to the lesson. Let's look at the primer. Don't overthink your intro. Just follow this formula. Define your key terms explicitly. Rephrase the core issue in your own words and outline the trade-off you're about to evaluate. Use the blueprint formula on the screen. A definition arises when. Explanation. In this case, context. It's a fill-in-the-blanks way to start every essay with total confidence. Now for the core engine. Examiners aren't looking for a list of facts. They want to see how and why things happen. You need a chain of reasoning. Look at this flow. Initial change, immediate effect, transmission mechanism, final outcome. But here's the pro tip. Always include the underlying assumption. If you skip even one link in this chain, your analysis is classified as incomplete. Don't leave the examiner to fill in the gaps for you. Your diagrams are analytical tools, not decorations. You can earn or lose 3 marks in seconds here. There are 5 non-negotiables. Label axes with full words, price, and quantity. Label every curve. Mark your original equilibrium, E1. Mark the new one, E2. And use arrows to show the direction of the shift. Precision here signals to the examiner that you know exactly what you're doing. Evaluation is where the friction happens. Imagine a seesaw. You have argument A, like raising rates reduces inflation. But then you have argument B, it also stifles growth. The judgment depends on the condition. Is it a time lag issue? Is borrowing elastic? You aren't just listing pros and cons. You're weighing which argument is stronger under specific conditions. When you're dealing with data response, remember this. Economic point plus economic explanation is not enough. If you don't quote specific extract evidence, your application mark is a big fat 0. Always quote the data. Here's the difference between an average student getting 4 to 6 marks and an elite student getting 12. Average students have gaps in logic and missing labels. Elite students provide 5-step causal chains, flawless diagrams, and balanced evaluations that consider the context. The goal today is to move you into that right-hand column. Time management is your biggest enemy. Remember, 1 mark equals 1.5 minutes. Spend 3 to 5 minutes planning so you don't get confused halfway through. The biggest mistake? Spending too long on the intro and having no time to evaluate. An incomplete paper almost always results in lower marks. Stick to the clock. Here is your final architecture for an A*. 3 minutes, intro. 20 minutes, 2 solid analysis paragraphs. 10 minutes, the Seesaw evaluation. 7 minutes, the final judgment. Memorize this architecture. Adapt your economics to it, and you'll dominate the exam.